Congratulations to Boston. Extremely tough series. Both teams battled every night, and that's what playoff basketball is. You got to be ready right from the tip, from game 1 all the way through game 7 or however long that series lasts. But they deserve credit for winning the series, so congratulations to them.
Bill Doyle, Worcester Telegram. Could you just talk about how Al Horford was so aggressive and took the ball to the basket against you guys?
Yeah, Al played well throughout the entire series, caused a lot of problems, whether it was driving to the basket, mid-range shots, post moves, getting to his, whether it was his jump hook or getting to his spots on the floor. At the top of the key a couple of times, driving it, not just tonight, but just knowing how to play. He's a veteran that's been around, been through a lot of battles, been through Game 7s before, so he deserves credit for, the way he played, but just the knowledge of playing and understanding what playoff games, playoff series are like and how you have to battle.
Coach, why was it so difficult tonight to get Giannis in position to score? It seemed like he struggled to get good looks most of the night.
Well, early on, the game was physical, I would say. I think the series has been physical, which is typical of the playoffs. I don't think that's new for anybody. Obviously there was a stretch. We played him the whole second, but basically, the foul trouble took him out, didn't close out the half, in regards to, being off the floor. But their defense loaded up to him quite a few times, and then it's, a decision, can he make the play at the rim? Can he make the kick out? I still think he was aggressive, trying to make the right plays. I think he played a great series. A lot of times people are going to just look at the scoring, but his ability to create for his teammates, create open shots, rebound the ball, like I mentioned the other day, gets a rebound off of a missed layup that, not a lot of guys can get, doesn't bring the ball back up and goes right back up with it. But for him, I think he battled the entire time, had some good looks that didn't go in, but they deserve some credit for playing tough defense at times too.
Coach, 0 fast break points for you guys tonight. What went wrong in that regard?
Well, they shot, one of the things is they shot 54%, and then one of the things we've talked a lot about here, and it wasn't too bad, but 11 offensive rebounds, that's another thing that's, so you shoot a high percentage, another thing that's going to stop the break. Now, we want to get out and run off of makes when we can as well, but it sometimes can be more difficult, as everybody knows. But that having been said, give them credit for, last game we had a lot, okay, a ton, and that was probably a big point of emphasis for them to get back, make sure that they crowd the paint, get out to, contain the ball and get out to shooters as need be. But that having been said, that's one thing for us, trying to find easy baskets. If we don't, then we got to set up and execute in the half court.
Coach, you're kind of talking about that, but let me ask you. First, Giannis had foul trouble, so how much did that play into the way you were coaching? And also the second part, when they're playing with such force, how do you counter it? Because they were executing, they played great. They played a great game.
Mm-hmm. No, they played well. You meet force with force. Bled and Giannis both had 3 fouls. We were trying to manage that in the first half, and that's just part of the game. It's, you always have your game plan and your rotation set. That's one of the things people always talk about, rotations. Well, what's this guy's rotation and when does this happen? Well, things like fouls impact that, so guys have to come in and out of the game at different times, and so in this case both Giannis and Bled in the first half, we had to manage that a little bit.
Coach, Jared Weiss from The Athletic. Giannis was dominant for most of the series, but Boston found ways to try to contain him or take him a little out of his game. As you look towards the future for him, where do you think that this series shows areas that he needs to grow in and continue to develop in so he can become the best player in the game?
Well, all of these experiences, and he even alluded to it after Game 6, what a big experience that was for us to win that game, to force the Game 7. We had been in that position before. So now we've been in a Game 7. You can go up and down the list of guys now that you can say have been in it. He's been in it, obviously. And I think every experience in a playoff series, games, don't take the game 7, all of it is invaluable and a tremendous learning experience. And Giannis's ceiling, as we know, is tremendous, and he's getting better every day. And I think that's a scary thing for everybody in the league to think about, that the things that he's doing on the floor to make his teammates better, to make himself better. There were stretches of the season where he shot an extremely high clip from the three-point line. So the more and more he gets comfortable there, the more and more dangerous he'll be, because obviously everybody knows how well he can get to the rim. But his ability to cause problems in so many places on the floor, talking about Al earlier, but, Giannis is a ball handler. He's a pick-and-roll player. He's a screen setter, offensive rebounder, pushes it in transition. These are all valuable experiences, but he still has room to grow, and I think that's scary for a lot of people to be, something for a lot of people to worry about moving forward, because he's that good.
Matt Velasquez, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Just what's it like for you as a coach when the bench comes in the first quarter and does what they've done in most of the games here in Boston, just can't hold on, and then you have to, over the course of the game, find way. You're still putting them in, still trying to find ways to find a spark. Just what's that like when you're trying to find that spark when it's just not coming?
Well, that's like we talked about earlier. Okay, you have your rotations. You get a feel for how guys are playing when they enter into the game, and you have to make those adjustments on the fly. And we talked about Shabazz in the games here. He had given us a spark offensively. Whether it was making threes, whether it was making shots, and he had always looked comfortable. So, you look at somebody like him in a short burst to see if he's got it. Jed, I thought, was really good for us tonight. Not in terms of, it's not about the stat line, but he was just stable for us. I think he ends up being a positive out on the floor in terms of plus minus. And that's not always the end all be all, but it's a guy that's been in these situations, so you can go to him. But you give the guys the opportunities, and you see what the flow of the game is, or how they look and how they feel out there, and then you make your decisions from there.
Joe, Mike Petralia, CLNS Media. When Jalen goes out and obviously didn't play the second half, how do you think that impacted the way they play? They addressed it, and how did it impact the way you guys were guarding?
Sure, I think they just continued to play hard. That's one of the things we always talk about is next man step up. And in this case, you get a guy like Marcus Smart who plays 32 minutes. And to be able to come back off of injury, it's not easy to step in, get a rhythm, and get a feel. And he's done that in a playoff series. And so for him, when Jalen went out, I don't think it changed the way they played. It just was another player that they weren't able to utilize. But again, I give credit to their entire team. But like I just mentioned, Marcus played 32 minutes, so I think that's where some of those minutes went. But other guys deserve credit too for playing the way they did. I thought Shane Larkin played a pretty solid game for them as well, coming off the bench.